Imagine a striker with the spatial awareness of a chess grandmaster, but the biomechanics of an absolute Olympic sprinter. We're talking about a guy clocking a top speed of over 36 kilometers per hour, standing at 195 centimeters tall. It's not Cristiano Ronaldo, and no, it's not Lionel Messi. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to completely deconstruct the blueprint of a literal footballing anomaly, Erling Haaland.
Just think about this for a second. 50 Premier League goals in just 48 matches. 50! To put that verified stat into perspective for you, he shattered the previous record by a massive 17 games. It's an output that honestly just defies the normal laws of human athletic adaptation. Which brings us to the ultimate question we're answering today. How exactly was this footballing machine built?
Well, the machine's origins trace all the way back to the year 2000 in Leeds. You see, his father, Erling Haaland, was this fiercely competitive Premier League player known for his real physical edge, a career notoriously altered by that famous Roy Keane challenge back in 2001. But honestly, the true secret ingredient here might just be his mother, Bryne FK, who was a national heptathlon champion. So from literally day one, Erling inherited this crazy genetic lottery that combined top-flight aggression with elite multidisciplinary athleticism. But, genetics only provide the raw materials, right? Plenty of athletes have athletic parents. So what was the actual catalyst in his specific environment that forged a prodigy, someone capable of just bullying seasoned professionals before he even turned 20? It was a rapid and honestly ruthlessly calculated ascent. After taking his first professional steps at Bryne FK, his true tactical awakening happened at Molde. And that is where he was mentored by the legendary striker Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who basically rewired Haaland's raw instincts into lethal precision. That mentorship laid the absolute groundwork for his explosive European breakthrough at Bull Salzburg, and of course, his subsequent evolution into a massive global superstar at Borussia Dortmund. Now, it wasn't just the sheer number of goals that triggered a massive bidding war among Europe's elite, it was exactly how he scored them. He had this terrifying blend of raw acceleration and elite spatial positioning. But dig a little deeper, and beneath that violently efficient finishing was an incredibly high football IQ. We're talking about a deep, almost sixth sense understanding of exactly when and where to trigger his runs. Scouts weren't just seeing a good player out there, they were seeing inevitability. But what would happen when he faced the ultimate tactical test? That evolution brought him straight to the ultimate tactical crucible. At Dortmund, he was this transitional monster, absolutely thriving in vast amounts of open space. But his move to Manchester City posed a massive, massive question. Could this open-field weapon actually master Pep Guardiola's complex, suffocating, possession-heavy chess match? Well, the answer was a resounding yes. He adapted almost instantly, learning how to completely dominate inside-packed, low-block penalty areas. And the result of that adaptation? Pure historical anomalies. I mean, he broke the all-time Premier League single-season scoring record in his very first year. Plus, he's racking up Champions League goals at a match-to-goal ratio that completely eclipses the absolute greatest players in the tournament's entire history. These aren't just patches of good form, these are verified metrics that are fundamentally altering our entire understanding of what a striker can actually achieve. But hey, numbers on a pitch are merely the output, right? To truly understand this machine, we really have to look under the hood. What is the actual sports science, the biometrics, and the extreme daily lifestyle choices that are fueling this completely unprecedented dominance? It all comes down to a daily routine modeled on robotic efficiency. First up, it starts with a massive diet of around 6,000 calories a day. And yeah, that famously includes organ meats like cow hearts and livers, just to maximize those bioavailable nutrients. Then comes a highly tailored gym program focused strictly on explosive power, which is followed by ruthless recovery protocols utilizing freezing ice baths to kill inflammation. Finally, his sleep is hyper-optimized through biohacking tech like blue light blocking glasses. Literally every single hour of his day is engineered for one single purpose. And the physiological result of that extreme lifestyle? It is a biomechanical nightmare for defenders. He possesses this unnatural functional strength that just easily overpowers elite center backs, and he pairs that with a top speed that rivals Olympic sprinters. But honestly, perhaps his most dangerous trait of all is his lethal, almost detached sport psychology. He has this terrifying ability to miss a massive golden chance and then instantly reset his mind without a single drop in confidence. It's a totally terrifying profile.
But, the human body, no matter how optimized it is still flesh and bone. So the underlying question that's kind of haunting City fans right now is this: can a machine actually sustain this immense level of physical output without eventually breaking down?
Well, the reality of his physical toll is actually starting to show. While his unstoppable club form has obviously driven Manchester City to historic heights, like the treble, we do have to acknowledge the verified setbacks. Recurrent muscular injuries have repeatedly sidelined him for critical stretches of the season. And over on the international stage, despite wielding this absolute generational weapon, the Norwegian national team continues to struggle to qualify for major tournaments. So the machine is brilliant, for sure, but it's not entirely invincible.
And that nuance really extends to how tactically complete he actually is on the pitch. Coaches and legends universally praise him as a generational goal scorer who guarantees massive output. Yet, on the flip side, there are persistent, data-backed criticisms regarding his limited build-up play. You'll notice in games where he isn't scoring, his remarkably low touch count often leaves him isolated from the overall flow of possession. And that sparks a really fascinating debate about what the true role of a modern striker should actually be.
But while those tactical debates rage on, there's an entirely different game being won off the pitch. Haaland is rapidly constructing a massive commercial empire, securing record-breaking sponsorships and becoming the global face for top athletic brands. Backed by a really growing portfolio of verified investments, he isn't just a footballer anymore. He is an elite, rapidly expanding global enterprise all on his own.
So, the foundation is set, the records are shattered, and the empire is built. But we all know football is notoriously a sport of what have you done for me lately, right? So, what do his absolute latest performances reveal? Is the machine finally plateauing, or is it actively upgrading? Well, consulting the latest data, the output remains completely staggering. His recent goals per game are holding remarkably steady, but crucially, his assist metrics are actually rising. This shows an evolving, much more well-rounded game. Defenses across all of Europe are literally actively designing entire tactical systems specifically just to stop him, yet his impact in high-stakes matches proves a frightening level of sustained dominance.
And all of this brings us to the ultimate unanswered questions, the big debates that are currently consuming football historians. Can he secure the Ballon d'Or to officially crown himself the undisputed best in the world? Can he maintain this unprecedented physiological pace for another decade to actually threaten Cristiano Ronaldo's all-time scoring records? And perhaps his most difficult hurdle of all, can he eventually drag Norway to World Cup glory? These are the questions that are going to define the next decade of world football. In this explainer, we've traced his genetic origins, we've decoded the extreme science fueling his power, and we've analyzed the cold, hard data of his dominance. So looking at everything he has already achieved at such a young age, I'm going to leave you with this. Are we simply watching another great striker, or are we witnessing the player who will redefine football forever?